I want my friends to win. I want my friends to do great stuff. I want them to be super successful. The only thing is the unhealthy, fleshly part of me just doesn't want them to be as successful as me. All right, there was a survey done just a little bit ago, and in it, these people were asked if which would you prefer, if you were getting paid $70,000 a year and all of your coworkers were getting paid $90,000 a year, or you were getting paid $60,000 a year and all of your coworkers were getting paid $50,000 a year. A shockingly high number of people were honest enough to say, I would prefer getting $60,000 a year and knowing that I was the highest paid than being at a place where I got $10,000 more, but had to deal with the emotional stress. I'm putting words in their mouth now, of the emotional stress of knowing that everybody else was getting paid better than me. And now I have personally seen this in a whole host of things. And you know what? I have felt this myself when it would appear that people around me were treated better, or people around me were getting some kind of benefit because of, whatever. I mean, this happens all the time where people imagine that there is a slight, there is something about them. It could be their age, their color. It could be the way that they talk. They just become so used to, they just assume now that anything that doesn't go their way, while they see it going the way of the people around them, that there is something being held against them. I think that all of us, in one degree or another, have to deal with this. Whenever we see people around us that excel or that get acclaim or appreciation. I've seen plenty of people get all put off and get all aggravated over this, as though somebody cares that much about these different features that they may or may not have. So that brings me to the parable of the workers in the vineyard. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them into his vineyard. About 9 a.m, he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace doing nothing. He told them, "You also go and work in my vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right." So they went. He went out again about noon and about 3 in the afternoon and did the same thing. About 5 in the afternoon, he went out and found still others standing around. He asked them, "Why have you been standing here all day long doing nothing?" "Because no one has hired us," they answered. He said to them, "You also go and work in my vineyard." When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to the foreman, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last ones hired and going to the first." The workers who were hired about 5 in the afternoon came and each received a denarius. So when those who came who were hired first, they expected to receive more. But each one of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. "These who were hired last worked only 1 hour," they said, "and you made them equal with us who have borne the burden of the work and the heat of the day." But he answered one of them, "I am not being unfair to you, friend. Didn't you agree to work for a denarius? Take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do what I want with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous? So the last will be first and the first will be last." I absolutely love that Jesus puts his finger on it when he says, this is envy. Are you not being envious? Envy is one of those things that can also cause us to be very, very sensitive to other people getting ahead. I have been in places where I have seen people that they got all worked up over somebody getting a promotion, and it led to their own work diminishing. It didn't help them at all to get all envious. I have been envious. I have been around people that had real wealth, real money, and And this was when I was very young, in my early 20s, and I remember how worked up I was over it. It brought out something really ugly in me. Look at that. He's just showing off. And I remember like it brought out an ugliness in me. The thing with our envy, the thing with we should actually come to be happy for people. That would be the greatest expression of God in a situation where somebody has more than us. I remember several years ago listening to somebody talk, and they made a comment that really rattled me. I've heard people that have gone on really, really, really cool vacations, and they wouldn't post any pictures on Facebook. They were concerned that if they posted a picture on Facebook, other people would become envious. Can you imagine being their friend? Can you imagine if you had a friend that somewhere along the line, 10 years down the road, they said, yeah, I felt really bad about, all of the success that I was having, and I didn't tell you because I was just afraid that you'd get jealous and you just weren't emotionally, strong enough to be able to deal with me being successful. Can you imagine dealing with that? I would be really bothered and troubled that if I had done something to send that message. I want my friends to win. I want my friends to do great stuff. I want them to be super successful. The only thing is the unhealthy, fleshly part of me just doesn't want them to be as successful as me. We need to celebrate, and we need to actually be super, super, super happy for our friends and even people that we hardly even know when they succeed. And we need to understand that I think that he blesses us to the limit that we are able to receive, or according to the plan that he has for us, because there are certainly some that their part of expressing who God is different, and we can't all be expressing the same characteristics and the same facets of God. So regardless, anyway, my time is up. This is a Men's Development Day moment, and I hope that you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.